called Burlington, Vermont. And one of the things that we did as we tried to develop a sense of community in the city was to bring minor league baseball into our town. And we worked really hard at it. And we ended up getting a AA team affiliated with the Cincinnati Reds. It's called the Vermont Reds in the Eastern League, AA. It turned out to be a really good team. A number of the ball players from that team made it into the majors. They ended up winning 3 Eastern League titles. What was most important to me as the mayor of the city at that time is seeing what minor league baseball did for our community. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. My memories are that kids would come out with their moms and their dads because tickets were very inexpensive, and a working class family could come out to the game, you get a few hot dogs, and you enjoy the day. And my memories are of the ball players who were very gracious, signing the autographs for the kids and kids being excited. And the nature of the field was everybody had a good seat and people could observe the games. And that's what minor league baseball in the city of Burlington, Vermont did. It became a very, very important part of our community and of our small state, because people from outside of Burlington came in as well. And I gotta say that I am outraged that we have today Major League Baseball, an institution owned mostly by billionaires, an institution that last year made $1.2 billion in profits, an institution that has received exemptions, antitrust exemptions from Major League Baseball, an institution that over the years has received hundreds of millions of dollars in corporate welfare as taxpayers built major stadiums around the country. And now Major League Baseball, enormously profitable, has announced a proposal that would shut down 42 teams, minor league teams around the country, including 3 here in the state of Iowa. And what I say to the commissioner and to the major league owners, there is a reason why baseball is considered the national pastime. It's just not another business operation where the bottom line has got to prevail. It's not just another business where you can pay people low wages and then shut down your enterprises in communities where they mean so much to the kids and the families. So I am delighted that in Congress, we actually have done something in a bipartisan way. Doesn't happen very often nowadays. But on this issue, you got Democrats and you got Republicans from all over this country saying to Major League Baseball, do not take away minor league baseball from 42 communities all over this country. Ain't gonna happen. And if it does happen, you're gonna have to deal with a number of us in Congress who will respond accordingly. So, with that, let me thank all of the folks who are here, and I'd kind of like to bring up representatives from the different Iowa teams and some others to say a few words. We have representatives from the local team here, the Burlington Bees. Kim, did you want to say a few words?
I just want to say that, one, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and this team means the world to me. I grew up here in Burlington. I started at the age of 15, game day staff, and this team is the heart and soul of Burlington. Burlington doesn't have all the bells and whistles that some of the other big teams do, but baseball has been in Burlington, Iowa since 1889. It's just disheartening to hear everything that's going on, because the biggest thing that baseball brings, minor league baseball brings, is that fan cultivation, where we are prepping the young kids to fall in love with baseball. And one of the biggest ones that I always talk about is the fan experience that they get at this level, being able to be so close to players. You see, the kids The fans today don't have any idea, the young fans don't have any idea how much the players make or whether they're going to be the next Mike Trout. All they know is that they have a very close proximity to them. And when that player shows them any type of, attention, they become instant fans of baseball. And I just don't want to see that nostalgia die by losing 42 teams. Thank you.
Kim mentioned something which I didn't know until yesterday. The team has been here since when?
1889 is when baseball first started in Burlington.
Baseball started here in Burlington, Iowa, 1889. We have the historian. Is that Bill here? Is Bill not here?
Bill Dow.
Bill is not here.
He's here.
Oh, Bill, did you want to come up and say a word a little bit? Are you prepared to say a few words about the history of baseball here in Burlington? Are you comfortable with that? Yeah, just say a few words. Leave the major speeches to me. You just say a few words. And that's quite a tradition you have here from.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
As Kim said, baseball began here in approximately 1889. We haven't had a continuous relationship with professional baseball. There have been some lapses. Most recently, we built the stadium on Mount Pleasant Street in 1947. We had a fire in 1971 or 2 that destroyed the grandstands, rebuilt that. And then in approximately 2004, 2005, through a Vision Iowa grant and sacrifices of a lot of local businesses, we renovated the stadium to the tune of about $2.5 to $3 million. We're a community-owned team. What that means is that the ground that the stadium is on is owned by the American Legion Post here locally. They in turn lease that ground to the city of Burlington. The city of Burlington in turn, through agreements we have with the city, allow the Burlington Baseball Association to operate a professional baseball team here in Burlington, Iowa. We've had various organizations over the years. We're currently with the Midwest League. Prior to that, we were with the 3I League. I forget the one before that. We're like I said, the ownership is with the Burlington Baseball Association. We own a piece of paper that's called a Player Development Contract, a PDC. There are approximately 160 PDCs that are part of minor league baseball, and they're distributed through certain leagues like the Midwest League. We've been led to believe over the years that as long as we meet facility standards, we will have a team here in Burlington, Iowa. Apparently, we were wrong on that.
You're not wrong. We're not giving up on this one.
Okay. I lost my train of thought, Senator. Anybody got questions?
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you, Bill. We also have representatives from the Clinton Lumber Kings. Somebody want to say a word? Clinton?
I'm going to say a lot of things that everyone else has already said, although I would like to take a moment to show that the impact of all of our communities have across the country. Kim Parker, who just spoke, was recently named the Rawlings Woman Executive of the Year in minor league baseball, and that just shows what Kim does and what we all do is important, not just here, but everywhere. The history in Clinton especially is important. We've been around. Our ballpark was built in 1937. It was a WPA project, and we've been the last charter member left in the Midwest League. The community, it means everything to our community. We have people here from it. I want to point out Tony Byers and his family who come out. They're some of our biggest fans, and you'll see them all over social media. They're at every game. I think Tony said himself he made every game but one this season. You don't see that from everywhere else in the world. We also got Ray Jimenez, who's here with us. Ray was a player. He came to Clinton first as a player. He was just happened to be assigned to Clinton, Iowa. He fell in love with our community, and he's still here today. Not everyone falls in love with their community as they're going across the country playing baseball, but it just shows the importance that people care. In minor league baseball, a lot of times it's about the bells and whistles and all the promo nights, but in Clinton, it means baseball, and I want to have the opportunity for people in small communities, big communities, wherever they are, to learn how to love baseball and grow up and continue to love the sport as they go forward. And it's another reason why we have to continue to fight to keep baseball, because if we don't, then other sports might be able to take over dominance, and it doesn't mean as much to the community and kids as they grow up anymore.
We have a representative from the Quad Cities River Bandits. Joe?
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say how incredibly thankful we are for obviously Bernie and his campaign, along with everyone else in Washington, D.C. that's standing beside us here as we go through some tough times. Really happy to be here today with two of our Midwest League partners in Burlington and Clinton. Our number one goal here is to keep baseball in all of our cities, and being a good partner not only with these two teams, but with the other 160 teams is really our goal here. Minor league baseball across the entire United States is really set up, to be community based, to give kids a chance to see baseball coming up. And all of us do different activities at our ballpark where kids of any ages get to firsthand meet these players, coaches, and it really makes a big difference in their life. These are the times that I remember when I was 10 years old, back when I used to go to minor league games in Rockford, Illinois, and it was exciting to be a young kid, running around the bases, high-fiving players, and those are the things that we want to keep intact here. So just incredibly thankful for everyone. Everyone's doing different things for us here in minor league baseball to help us stick together as one and continue to have 160 teams across the nation.
I think one of the events that has precipitated the proposal from the MLB is a class action lawsuit by minor league players at the lower levels who are paid very, very, very low wages. I think we have a representative here from the minor leagues who would like to say a few words on that class action suit.
Hi, everyone. My name is Garrett Brushhouse, and I'm a former minor league baseball player myself. So as Senator Sanders said, we're getting personal today. I think all of this is personal for all of us here today. Going back to my playing days, Senator Sanders mentioned the Eastern League. That was one of the places I played, and I remember I had a teammate there who I lived with on the road sometimes, a road roommate, and I asked him why he wasn't eating breakfast and why he was skipping lunch a lot of times and why he was waiting until he got to the ballpark to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the first thing that he ate. And the reason he said was it wasn't that he didn't like eating lunch, it wasn't that he didn't like eating breakfast, it's because he couldn't afford to eat lunch. He wanted to save money. He had run up credit card debt due to the low salaries, and so he had debt collectors calling him while he was traveling on the buses, and he literally couldn't afford to eat those meals. And so that really never left me, and I never forgot that. And later on, I went to law school, and I now represent ball players that are trying to increase their wages using minimum wage and overtime laws. And as Senator Sanders mentioned, we recently had a win in the Court of Appeals, and we currently represent over 15,000 current and former players. How does this relate to the plan to shutter minor league baseball teams? Well, it's the major league teams that pay the salaries. And right now, most players are making less than $7,500 for the entire year. They aren't paid during spring training at all. And we're talking about an industry that Senator Sanders mentioned had over $1 billion, not in revenue, but in profits this year. And so they can afford to give a raise to these players. And now they're saying that they recognize that there needs to be a raise, but they're using that as an excuse to shutter teams. We don't need to shutter teams just to get players above the minimum wage and above the poverty line. We can keep these teams and give these players a long overdue raise. And I thank Senator Sanders for giving me and giving us the opportunity to voice those concerns. And I thank you for the time, Senator Sanders. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job. Thanks very much. We have with us a former major leaguer, Slade Heathcott. Slade, do you want to say a few words?
As a testament, I think every player that has been in minor league baseball, professional baseball, we grew up watching some type of minor league team. This has, as you hear the testaments of teams and people that are standing up for this cause, this has a lot more to do than just the game of baseball. This impacts the lives of young Americans all over the United States. Some of the lives that, for instance, myself, baseball was the only thing I had. Baseball kept me going through tough times. Baseball kept me going to be the person I am today. And by cutting these teams, by taking away the pastime of America, we are influencing the game to, we are taking a time and taking kids and taking opportunity and life impacting moments away from young Americans. We're sitting here and players are standing up, sharing stories. Some of the stats that we've had are, players would spend 24 hours a week getting better at the game of baseball with just having the opportunity. As you said, most players are earning under $7,500 a month. In San Jose, for example, after paying rent with our stats, it's showing that players are left with about $90 at the end of the month. Nobody is able to live or play the game of baseball on $90. This comes down to standing up to a principle and standing up for a cause that Americans can stand behind. This is about every working class family. Minor league games, minor league stadiums are accessible to more people than major league games. Major League Baseball has a huge impact, but minor league baseball has an impact on every single life touching this room right now. We can stand up and we can make a stand for minor league baseball players and for young Americans all over the United States. And I appreciate everybody that has come and everybody that is standing up to help players in this cause. And I hope that we stand forward to this and we stop the power in hand that is standing up to minor league baseball players, that is trying to decimate the system that we have today.
Great job. Excellent. Is there anybody who would like to add? Yes, come on.
I am Ray Jimenez. I am a pastor. I didn't go to my church to preach. I should be preaching right now. But I put somebody else in there because I think this is very, very important. I am a former player. I came in the 1970s. I was a former first round and played with Jim Leland for the 5 years in the minor leagues. And Clinton has become my home. And I currently run the homeless shelters in town. We're housing men, women, and children in crisis. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up, because that's my career now, is because in Clinton, Iowa, right now, the population has depleted because of economic hardship. And I strongly believe that if baseball is taken away, this is the hardcore of the city, this city will collapse economically. I really believe that. And so we need this. And I'm willing to protest and do whatever I have to do, because when I was a young man, I had a dream. And the dream was to make it to the major leagues. Today, that dream wasn't realized because I played 5 years in the minor leagues. However, I'm helping other players get to the major leagues. You have to get to the minor leagues in order to get to the major leagues. And I house ball players and I charge them no rent because I want to make sure that they would make it. And when I have players similar like Cattell Marte living in my house, people like that, Manny Pena, that plays for the Brewers and living in my house. And today they're major leaguers. Roenis Elias, we just won a world championship with the Nationals. Let me tell you something. That means a lot to me to keep baseball alive and well in Clinton, Iowa. I sense that we need to say that. Right now, Clinton, every Saturday I'm giving 150 food boxes, quality food boxes in Clinton to needy families that are really in need. Can you imagine? If we don't have baseball, what's going to happen? So 60% of the people in Clinton, Iowa, are living below the poverty line. That's higher than the 13% of the United States. Immediately, that tells you you do not want to take baseball out of there. So I am willing to protest and rally the troops. You know, me being a community leader there in Clinton, Iowa, to protest against this decision that Major League Baseball wants to make against minor league baseball across the board. I love baseball. That was my dream, and now I'm making somebody else's dream come true by making them come to minor leagues to make it to the major leagues. Thank you very much, Senator Sanders, for this. I appreciate it very much.
Anybody else want to say a few words? Please.
Hi. In 1977, my dad took me to my first Clinton Lumber Kings game. It was the greatest thing ever. I remember Mitch Webster handed me a ball, and he signed it after the game for me. I'll never forget that. Here it is 40 plus years later, and I'm able to take my girls, I'm sorry, to Lumber Kings games. Sorry. And to see their joy that they get when they get baseballs. You can't take that away from families. You just can't. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's about. It's the joy in the hearts of little kids in Burlington, Vermont, and Burlington, Iowa, and Clinton, Iowa, Quad City, Iowa. That's what it's about. And Major League Baseball has got to understand that baseball is more than just a bottom line for a group of billionaires. It is these communities where the kids come out, where young ball players relate beautifully to the young people in the community. It means so much. So, anybody else want to say a few words? Do you want? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Aaron Senny. I grew up in Minnesota, not far from here. You know, a young man with a dream as well to eventually make it to the major leagues. Like Garrett, I took the next step to the University of Missouri, played 4 years of college ball there, had a great time, and then, you know, went on to the minor league systems after that. And what was shocking to me was, as a kid, you look at these big leaguers and you kind of aspire to be them, and you think, you know, there's you know, a nice path to get to the big leagues, and, you know, it's a luxurious lifestyle, and then you get to the minor leagues and you quickly learn that that's not necessarily the case, and there are a lot of hardships. And you know, being a part of that and seeing and being around teammates and players who, you know, come from a lot of different backgrounds, have a lot of different stories, but everyone has, you know, similar struggle in the minor league system. You know, it made me really want to support this cause to help change that and you know, make for a better situation and better living conditions for future ball players. And then, you know, seeing what Major League Baseball is trying to do to accommodate that by taking away teams from, you know, cities and communities all across the country. You know, it's despicable, and I'm happy to be up here representing, you know, this cause and trying to make things right going forward. So, thank you. Thank you, Bernie.
Anybody else?
I'm Matt Perret, a former minor leaguer as well. I played 5 years in the minor leagues with the San Francisco Giants. Actually, Slade and I played together down in the minor leagues. I was one of those kids that Kim was talking about earlier, that watching the game growing up. I was young, growing up in Portland, Maine. You know, I'd go to the games, and then we ended up becoming a host family. I begged my mom. I was like, "Can please host a player? Please host a player." We got to host a player. I ended up, through the years in high school, I became the bullpen catcher for that team. So I lived minor league baseball from the very beginning. I saw how much it impacted the community. I ended up living with a host family myself. And I lived through the extremely low wages. And now I am here with everyone, thankful for Senator Sanders to have us all here so that we can talk about what minor league baseball means to communities across America. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Any questions from the media on this? Yes.
At a legislative level, can you try to save minor league baseball? Is there any remedy?
Yeah, there is. I believe there is. And I don't want to speak for other members of Congress, but as you've heard, I think there are at least 100 members of Congress and senators as well who are prepared to go forward on this. It is no great secret that over the years, the major leagues have been given many benefits by the United States Congress that other businesses don't have. They are exempt from antitrust law, which is a huge advantage for them. They have received over the years many hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer corporate welfare to build their stadiums. And by the way, after they build their stadiums, many working class families can't afford to go to see the games in the stadiums they help build. They have very lucrative television contracts, sometimes designed in unusual ways. So I think there is a lot that Congress can do to protect baseball for ordinary Americans, and I think that is what you're going to see being done in a bipartisan manner. Now, I hope it doesn't have to come to that. I hope that Major League Baseball hears what the people here have to say, and communities all over this country have to say about the importance of minor league baseball. I hope that Major League Baseball sits down with the minor leagues, works out their differences, but at the end of the day, 42 communities all over this country should not lose what is so terribly important to them. Yes, Ann.
Thanks. Earlier this month, you met with Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. Can you tell us about that meeting and what you said to him?
Well, I told him then what I'm saying now, is that it is not acceptable that 42 communities around this country lose minor league baseball. He indicated to me that he wanted to sit down with the minor leagues and work out the issues that they have, and that he wanted to save minor league baseball in these 42 communities. And today I say to the commissioner, do that. Sit down, negotiate in good faith. But at the end of the day, what you got to take away from this negotiations is the threat to shut down baseball in all of these communities. Yes, sir.
The labor issues that you're talking about.
Sorry?
The labor issues that you were talking
yeah.
about today, not so dissimilar from some of the labor issues that, the food service workers out in Los Angeles at Loyola Marymount are facing. Can you give us an update on conversations you've had with the DNC or with the other campaigns, and whether you're prepared to skip the debate on Thursday?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last word.
Sorry.
Hold up, Mike, a little bit closer.
Any updates on conversations you've had with the DNC or the other campaigns about the labor issues out?
Right, I think there is not going to be a debate so long as there remains a labor dispute. But I hope and expect that the DNC will resolve that. But, the point you're making is what this is all about is that an enormously profitable entity, which is Major League Baseball, pays workers in the lower level minor leagues horrendous starvation wages, sometimes below the minimum wage. A class action suit may well be successful in driving those wages up. So instead of paying workers a living wage, in this case minor league baseballs, their approach is to get rid of the 1,200 ball players and use that money maybe to raise salaries for ball players in the AAA, AA, and single A leagues. That's not the right approach. These ball players, these young men deserve a decent salary in whatever league they are in, and communities deserve the right to continue to have minor league baseball. All right? Okay, well, look, thank you all very much. And let me thank everybody up here. And in many ways, this is, I know there's a Bernie behind me, this is not a particularly political issue. This is an issue where Democrats and Republicans and independents and conservatives and progressives all agree. Baseball is our national pastime. Minor league baseball is the heart and soul of baseball in general. And together, we're going to do everything we can to preserve these 42 teams. Thank you all very much. Thanks so much. Thank you very much.
Right here.
I think you and I are going to exchange your hat here, right?
Yes.
This is late. Have you ever been to Burlington, Vermont?
I have not.
Oh, it's a great city. Here's ours. Show some courage. Get up there. And pitching is the former star second baseman from a New England college. Guys, you're not going to throw it that hard. Don't worry, you don't have to warm up so much. Just lob it in. All right, right to you.
Swing it all the way through. Just watch the first one go by.
What?
Just watch the first one go by.
Watch it go by?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Good eye. Whoa.
Yeah, heads up.
All right, Kim, I'm aiming for you. All right. There you go. All right. All right, we want to see a CNN catch.
Sponsored by the Burlington Bees right there, everybody.
CNN, you're supposed to dive for the ball. All right. All right. All right, that's it. So for all the minor league scouts, if I don't make it to the presidency, I am available. My agent over here is prepared to sign. We're ready to go.
You can stay with us.
All right, thank you all very much.